Welcome to Pub Natter, where we record each episode in a different pub in Rutland, the smallest county in England. In each episode, your hosts, Tim and Justin, give a voice to the landlords and landladies and a special guest with a specific area of interest or expertise. We hope you enjoy our chats, and it encourages you to go and explore our little county and all it has to offer. Like the motto says, there is much in little. This episode was recently recorded at the Fox at North Luffenham in Rutland. It is part 2 of 2, and if you haven't already listened to part 1, I would recommend that you listen to that episode first. We chat with the owner of the Fox, Jason Allen, who is also the Chair of Discover Rutland. Our special guest is Gina Bradbury, who is the director of the Outdoor Guide and business partner to her sister and TV presenter Julia Bradbury, who both have strong connections to Rutland. We pick up the conversation where Justin is asking Jason about Stamford's presence on Discover Rutland's website. When rain stops play, it's time for some pub natter.
You saying that you work with Stamford. I noticed that Discover Rutland, Stamford is a part of it on the website.
We put Stamford on the website. I mean, we don't have members on the website because basically Stamford is obviously part of South Kesteven. And I won't get into the complexities of it all, but Stamford is actually managed by Lincoln Tourism, believe it or not, and it comes back to this county boundary. We recognise we want to focus on our members and making sure we give best value for our members, promoting them, but we truly believe that there may be potential moving forward for us to do more collaboration with Stamford, for us to have more members in Stamford maybe, but certainly what we recognise is that people come to Rutland, they come to Rutland Water to stay. Of course we're going to tell them about Stamford as well because it's another place for them to visit.
Yeah, and Melton gets a mention as well.
And there's Melton.
Come to Oakham, gateway to Melton Mowbray.
Good pork pies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Stilton, good cheese.
Yeah. But you know,
I'll drink to that.
We should be very proud. For many years we used the strapline. In fact, we still do the County of Good Taste because, you know, we've got our own brewery, we've got our own bakery. You know,
2 breweries.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. And we're very proud of our, you know,
2 vineyards.
2 vineyards now. Yeah.
At least 1 Michelin-starred restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I think establishments in Rutland are of a good standard and a high quality because people demand it, and I think that's really good for the county. So I think, you know, the County of Good Taste is a good strapline, really.
Yeah. A bijou castle.
Yeah, bijou castle. Yeah.
So talking of good standard and high quality, Gina.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere.
Absolutely.
So tell us first of all, tell us how you 2 got together.
My dad.
All right.
Well, my dad told me that he goes to a pub in North Luffenham that he absolutely loves. I happened to be at the bird fair and was looking around and came across the Discover Rutland stand, and I got chatting to Jason, and I said, and he said, oh, you know, I've got a pub in North Luffenham. I said, oh, my dad goes to North Luffenham. He loves the pub there. He's always raving about it, but I've never been. He said, so Jason said, well, what pub is that? I said, oh, the Fox. He said, thank God for that. That's mine. And then
he's not in now, is he?
Well, what he didn't say earlier is that he's actually named the pub after me, Gina Fox. Because although I'm Gina Bradbury, my other name is Fox. So it's karma. We're meant to be here. And I had historically
I've heard of a fox in the box. We've got a fox in the fox tonight.
We have got a fox in the fox. Yeah. We better not say that too fast
Foxy
after
fox.
a few years. Yeah.
So I'm not Stan Boardman.
So, then it transpired that the Outdoor Guide had done some work with the old Discover Rutland or Rutland Council many years ago, and we just rekindled that relationship, and there were lots of things happening in Rutland, and even though my sister Julia and I have moved away. Our parents still live here. We've lived here since 1972.
So you, let's just rewind. So you went to school here.
Yep. I'm a Welsh Greek. I was born in Wales, and then my mother's Greek. Julia is.
Can definitely see the Greek.
Thank you. And Julia's an Irish Greek because she was born in Dublin. And then we ended up back here in 1972, and Mum and Dad whenever we've left, we've always kept the house and rented it out and moved back, but Mum and Dad have been back here permanently for 20 years, and Julia and I gravitate back here whenever we can. But sure. Because she's got children, and obviously being a TV presenter, she's on the road and doing stuff all the time. I'm a bit more fluid in what I can do, so I'm the one that sort of comes up and looks up, sort of checks on Mum and Dad and so on and so forth.
But you're living in London?
Yeah, I've lived in London for 40 years.
Okay, I bet it's quite nice to get out of the city, isn't it?
It is, and I live North London, so it's an hour and 40 minutes door to door. So this is the second time this week I've been up, so it's really easy. I mean, it is genuinely, a very easy place to get to.
For you London-centric types listening to this, hour and 40 minutes and you can come to heaven.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is. It's fantastic. It is.
Bucolic Rutland.
We ran a campaign at King's Cross Station a number of years ago. We got a very, very good deal, and when you went down the escalators...
You need to explain this quickly.
We had a picture of the church. And it was you could be here in sort of an hour and a quarter, and it got so much feedback through the website and inquiries. So, yeah, we're very accessible.
Yeah.
That's much more wholesome than the billboards that I've seen in Tennessee, where they advertise that you can be gambling in 2 hours once you cross the Ohio River.
Yeah.
And they're just everywhere.
So talk us about your day job then.
Oh my God.
A day in the life of Gina.
A day in the life. Well, a lot of it is spent sorting out a day in the life of Julia, because I've worked with Julia for 30 years, and I'm sort of, she's the swan that sort of glides along, and I'm the legs underneath that's sort of making sure she's where she's meant to be. So I'm her manager, and then she has an agent that's doing all the work stuff.
How's that relationship?
Well, if I'm honest, it's fine, because she's so good at what she does, and I'm so good at what I do, and we don't. She couldn't do what she does without me, and I couldn't do what I do without her. So we actually complement each other. So this is quite strange for me, doing this, because she would normally be doing this sort of thing. So
what about the? Because you've obviously got a sister relationship, and you've got a professional relationship.
No, it's all the same.
Yeah.
No, it's all the same, because we're so close that it just sort of rolls into one. But I mean, there are, and I can say things as her sister for work, with work-related stuff that a lot of people that work with her would not be able to say. But I can say it because I know they're thinking it, and then I say it. But
and I guess there's a really good trust issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I do all the VAT, I do all the banking, I do management of accounts, everything. And she's got, because it's a very cutthroat business, and there can be a lot of, things go missing, payments, invoices don't get paid, and I'm on all of that. So she knows, and she knows I've got her back, basically, all the time. And it we complement each other, but the one thing that we are very passionate about is Rutland. So when I met Jason and we started talking, I said, look, whatever it is, we're going to get something sorted, and we're going to embed all the heritage walks onto the outdoor guide, because what the outdoor guide is a free online resource for people to go walking and find out information.
So that's theoutdoorguide.co.uk.
Yeah.
And that's national, not just Rutland.
It's world. We've got a lot of work. We've got a lot of work. Well, it started off putting on all the walks that Julia did on telly, so people could find them easily, because back in the day, they would write to us and say, oh, where was that walk? Or where was that she stayed in? Or what walking boots is she wearing? And so on. So came up with this bright idea, why don't we build a website that has all this information on, so people can look, and then we'll add more and more information to it. So now it's been going 10 years. We've got about nearly 3,000 pages of unique content.
You're saying about Discover Rutland. That's another really good website.
Yeah, I haven't checked that one out yet.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's got 700 walks on it, which has got, and then the walks are all curated, so it's not just ad hoc. They're meaningful, and we put on all the useful information. It's a bit like a tourist website, but it's basically all about walking. So with the heritage walks, we can embed those into the site with all the information, and so that when people are searching, you know, we come up quite high up in the search engines organically.
Sure, yeah. When I was looking at it, I saw TOG.
Yeah.
And I was trying to work out what's TOG. But obviously, the outdoor guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Took about 5 minutes to work that one out.
Yeah.
But something that really impressed me was the accessibility thing that you're doing on there.
Yes,
I thought that was great.
We started out with that was one of my making the outdoors accessible to all, and I had somebody at the time that worked, and she was in a wheelchair, so she would go and do the walks. And in fact, we did a South Shore wheel friendly, we call them, walk on the Rutland shore, and we filmed it with a drone. And back in we were so ahead of the game. But now we sort of got about 150 walks all around the UK that are wheel friendly with all the information.
That's brilliant.
With accommodation, which is tried and tested, so that you know people can honestly, we'll say, well, there's a bit of a step, so if you're a wobbler, you can go there, but if you're in a full-blown wheelchair and can't walk, it won't work. You know, it's just transparency. But the key thing for me now, and it's really happened since COVID, is that one of the statistics that I read during COVID was that children get outside less than prison inmates.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're coming onto your outdoor foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
just
Sorry.
both of our wives worked with kids.
Ah.
And so,
Yeah.
when I looked at that, you know, the problem I have with charities is that you never know where your money's going.
Yeah, that's.
And it's like, you know, as great as they are, I mean, Alzheimer's research, we desperately need it because the government ain't going to fund it.
But a lot of
yours,
it's
you
very
know where that money's going.
Yeah, well,
it's
that's
brilliant.
exactly what I say. I say, I've done a deal with Dunlop. I've done a deal with a waterproof suit company. My best friends own Sanderson Transport, which is in Corby, and I went to school with them. They do my distribution.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tried to keep the costs right down. And at the moment, 10 sets, 350 quid, gives 10 different sizes or multiple sizes to a state primary school so that the kids can simply get out in the playground.
So just expand on that a bit. So people who come who want to know more about your charity, come to the website.
Yep.
And what are they? If they contribute, they're buying a pair of wellies for a kid that can get out into the country.
It goes to the school. What it does is it goes. I want. When I did the research.
So sorry, is this for kids whose parents can't afford?
It's state primary. So backtrack. So children get outside less than prison inmates.
Yeah.
One of the barriers is they don't have a coat or the right boots, the right shoes.
Shocking.
So they go to school in whatever they're wearing. Invariably, this is what I've been told by teachers, parents will ring the school and say, don't let Jason go out at lunchtime, please, because he hasn't got a coat and he'll get wet, and I haven't got a second set of uniform for him to wear. So then Jason either has to go out and get wet, or he has to sit in the classroom and not go outside. So I said, well, if we can have a row of coats and jackets that aren't branded, it's not about branding, that are just simple waterproof jackets over trousers and welly boots, the teacher can then say, well, don't worry, Jason's mum, we've got a whole load of lovely waterproof jackets, trousers and boots, and he can wear one of those over his fleece. He can go out with everybody and he'll be dry. So that was my aim, and that the school keep the kit. So either people can donate, just go on the website and there's a button, donate, and £5, whatever you want to give, and that goes into the pot. and as it accumulates, I then work my way down my waiting list of 350 schools that I've got all around the country. Or if, as happened recently, somebody came to me who's, I can't name, but he's quite well known in Essex, and said, look, I love what you're doing. He said, I will sponsor 20 schools in Essex. So I found where his office was, and I found 20 schools that was, and I can check online because you can look on the government website and see free school meals, pupil premium allowance. It's not rocket science. I'd ring the school and I'd say, I've got a donor who wants to donate 10 sets of waterproof and wellies to your school. Would these be of interest or would these be of use? And of course, first of all, they think it's a scam. So then I have to go through the whole performance and say, no, I'm Julia Bradbury's sister, blah, 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 and it's not a scam. And then they bite my hand off, and then job done. So that's tick. So then I did that for 20 schools, and we just sent them out. And I've just started getting letters now back from the school saying, it's changed our lives. It's fantastic. Who is the sponsor? And I said, I can't tell. It's
that's brilliant.
It's nice that the sponsor has chosen not to be named as well, because sometimes people do these things for the.
Well, I disagree with you. I think it's very important that people get the credit for what they're doing, because I think why
if they
not?
Want to.
If they don't want, I mean, I know why he doesn't, but a lot of people, because I've got the outdoor guide, for instance, if I have like Jason with the Fox and also with the campsite, they sponsor the Outdoor Guide Foundation. So I can then highlight that on the outdoor guide. So I have got somewhere that's authentic.
Sure, yeah.
But there are companies that are not outdoor related. So I can't really put them on the outdoor guide because they're not really, it's not the right content in the right context. So they go on the Outdoor Guide Foundation as a friend of the Outdoor Guide Foundation. But, just as a nod to say thank you, and they get a certificate, so they can put that up, and the school and I always tell the school where the money's come from, because I mean, for instance, Coptill School in Stamford, going back to Stamford, they gave me money for 10 schools in and around Rutland, and in fact they gave North Luffenham 10 sets of waterproof and wellies. Yeah. So it's.
Can I put a request in for Oakham C of E?
Well, why don't you, as your podcast, why don't you sponsor the school? And
because we don't make any money.
Well, you'll be at the bottom of my 351 now, you are.
So can I ask, what is the cost of say, 10 sets?
£350 delivered to the school. That's postage, everything.
That's when you've got a particular manufacturer that does that for you, have you? Or is it?
Yeah, we've got Dunlop wellies. They're brand new, and we've got a suit company that we buy directly, so we know the provenance of them. And it's just a waterproof navy jacket, waterproof over trousers.
They're quite smart. If you go online, you can have a look.
Yeah, they are. They're all the same, so that you haven't got one kid going, oh, you've got a Nike jacket, or you've got whatever.
Actually, I'm about the size of the average 11-year-old. I might put in for a set.
I can get adult sizes. The downside of once you go up to an adult size...
I should clarify, I'm the height of the average 11-year-old.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah.
And the diameter...
of
somebody much bigger.
So, and sadly, once the diameter and the bigger, the VAT, the dreaded VAT comes in.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seriously, it's so nice to have something tangible that you know.
Well, that's what I wanted
where
it
your
to
money's
be.
going,
That's what I wanted to say to people. That is, and I've done the maths. I mean, the jackets retail. I've seen the jackets in shops and they're £27 odd. The trousers are 20 odd quid.
Yeah.
And then you've got the welly boots on top. Then postage, or if you were going to order them online. Yes, you can order one of something online and it's a £5 or it's this, that. But to order in bulk like that and for it all to be the same, that was my thing. So, and to have the continuity. So.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's all the same as well. So there's no bickering about
There's
who
no
gets
bickering.
this
And the
brand, that
kids-
brand, this colour, that colour.
And the kids, I mean, I cry every time I go to schools, because they're so grateful, the schools. And the kids, when they put them on, and they parade. I do assemblies. I go to assemblies. And I've got an ambassador. Talk about Rutland ambassador. I've got a Waterproof and Wellies ambassador. He's 9. He's done enough. When he was 6, he saw us at a show. And he went home and said to his mum, I want to do a fundraiser for the Waterproof and Wellies project. And to date, he's raised enough money himself for 10 schools.
Wow.
And he's 9. I mean, he's absolutely... And he came to the assembly with me a couple of weeks ago in Somerset. And he stood up in front of this class of sort of his peers, really. They're all
Wow.
they were all asking him questions of, why do you do it? Aidan, why do you do it? And he was saying it's so important for you to get outside. It's so healthy. And it's like, I don't need to say
Inspiring.
anything. He's very inspiring.
It's very inspiring.
Remind us again, what's the name of the charity? If people want to...
Well, it's the outdoor... It's a foundation. It's a not-for-profit foundation. It's called the outdoorguidefoundation.org. And the main website is theoutdoorguide.co.uk, and there's links backwards and forwards to both.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then in the next few months, we'll have all of the heritage walks from Discover Rutland all over the website.
That's brilliant.
And then we're hoping to return later in the year. We've got some exciting plans.
We have.
With Discover Rutland, because Julia's got a new book out. So we were hoping to come and do a book signing up here in October.
I expect that's going to be in Walker's Books, is it?
Well, we've got to find a venue, but we're hoping that Walker's Books will support it.
Walkers are a partner or a member of Discover Rutland, so we're hoping they'll support us. And
So
I'll play golf with Tim Walker sometime.
Oh, fantastic!
whose idea was Walk Yourself Happy?
Julia's.
It's
Julia's.
a great tagline.
Yes, it was.
My family wouldn't agree with it. About twice a year, I guilt my family into
To a
coming out
walk.
we're all going to go out on a walk together. And they said, well, you organise it. And so I'm interested in the outdoor guide because it might give
all there,
me some
idiot-proof.
inspiration.
Yeah.
So I find these walks, which I tell them, that's 2.5 hours, 3 tops. 4.5 hours later, with me looking at my phone, saying, I can't read a map, but I've got GPS, but I haven't here because I'm in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, walking makes you happy. Walk yourself happy. I don't think that would.
Unless there's a pub en route. So
Well,
all
we
our
always
heritage maps have got a pub.
Yeah, there's
en
normally
route,
a pub at the
that's
end.
good.
Yes, pub, yeah. No, Julia was in. What happened for this particular book was that before COVID, Julia was thinking that she wanted to write a book that was about the outdoors and the benefit of nature, vitamin N as she calls it, and she was it was all in development, and then she got cancer, and everything got put on hold, and she did a documentary about her cancer journey, hate that word, and I was with her every step of the way. And the documentary went out on ITV and it was nominated for an award. It was up against some other things. And then her agent said, look, why don't you write a book about the journey? And it wasn't really a cancer book, but it was all about her healing process. And her aim, what she wanted to do, was get all the family walking together up Mam Tor, which is where Dad took her when she was a little girl.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the walks I took my lot on.
But bearing in mind, my mother is 87, so this was 3 years ago.
Blimey.
And when she and Dad got married, Dad took her to the Hope Valley for their honeymoon. So they went back to their roots, as it were, and we all walked up Mam Tor with Julia and the kids. The only person that wasn't there was my son, and that was what she wanted, and it was the walk yourself happy. So she says that walking made her better because the outdoors, and that was her medicine.
Yeah.
Every day, talking to the trees, hugging the trees. And so the book is really about her healing process and what she learnt. So it's breath work, sleep, eating. It's got menus and dietary things in there, but it's just like a little handbook, really, for people that have cancer. And what was very apparent with the documentary and what's happened since, when we've done book tours and she's done other speaking engagements, and obviously I'm with her there, carrying the bags, is that people are so grateful that she'd shared her knowledge and her experience. Even men, a lot of men have said, God, I had no idea that my wife or my partner would have felt like that, because, you know, Julia documented she was waking up at 3 a.m. and she had a camera at the side of the bed and she'd turn it on and then talk into it and say what was wrong.
Yeah.
And so the book was sort of an extension of that.
This is the book that's going to come out?
No, this is
the book that's already out
now, called Walk Yourself Happy, and it's out in paperback.
Cool.
And that was a Sunday Times bestseller. And now she's doing book number 2, which is out this year in September, and then we'll do a book tour end of September, October, and that's when we hope to be in Oakham or be in this area in October. I've got to sort of organise that with the publishers. And the title is still to be...
decided.
Well, it's still to be revealed.
Okay.
But it's all on the
Watch
same...
this space.
Yeah, same vein.
You heard it here first.
You did.
It's still a taboo subject, isn't it, cancer? I think people still don't like to talk about it. I mean, it's come a long way, but I still think it's a bit taboo, isn't it?
I think... Well, I just think people are embarrassed. They don't. It's like prostate cancer for men. Nobody wants to, it's all fine, it's all fine. And I think it's also a very English thing. You know, people don't like, we're Greek, I'm Greek, I'll, cry, talk about anything, but it's I know with Jules, with the more she talked about it, it was very cathartic, and she's helped. I mean, she's helped so many people, and she's highlighted things. For instance, when you have a mammogram as a woman, if you have, if it comes up on the mammogram that you have dense breasts, which is not the size of your breasts, it's actually the density of the tissue on your breasts, the mammogram will not pick up I say will not. I mean, Julia's was missed twice, but it misses.
It's more difficult.
It misses the cancer.
It's more difficult to diagnose it.
It's more difficult because it's like finding a snowflake in snow. In France, if you have a mammogram and they see that you've got dense breasts, it's mandatory to have an MRI or an ultrasound. So Julia is very, very passionate about trying to get for when you have a mammogram to be told that you've got dense breasts, because then you can have a choice to then go on and have a mammogram or an ultrasound. Unfortunately, you'll have to pay for them, but at least it gives you that choice to have them and the chance and the bigger chance of finding finding if there's something wrong. Hers was missed.
Again, that's a very traditional British thing to not have that communication, and they're like, I'm the guy with the white coat who knows all the information. You don't need to know this.
No, I mean, I've had dealings with family members who've had cancer over the last number of years, and when you go to meet consultants, there is a sense that they will tell you what to do, and they don't really like being questioned or challenged.
No, absolutely not.
And you have to be quite forceful at times, because you want to walk out of that room with an understanding of what's going on that you can understand in a way that you can repeat it back to them in English, so you can then go and communicate that to other family members, often to the person because often the person that is having the diagnosis, their head's not in the right space and they're not really hearing what's going on, and it helps to have somebody explain it to them afterwards.
I went to every meeting, every doctor's meeting with Julia, and wrote it all down, because she was taking a lot of it in and writing it down, but then we'd compare notes. But it was absolutely, if she asked something off-piste as a question, well, is there an alternative? Like it was, it's the devil sign, you're not allowed to answer. And she actually spoke at a conference, a medical conference, and regenerative medicine conference, and she actually said, that, and there were doctors in the audience, and she said to them, please don't make us feel that, alienated and that there's something wrong with us just because we want to ask other questions. And is there an alternative? Can I do this in another way? Because it's not just about taking a pill. But, you see, the pills are from the drug companies. The drug companies are funding...
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Big pharma.
Exactly.
Oh, God, there's a whole topic of conversation.
There, you see.
Yeah.
And that was what she is now. She is trying to... She doesn't have the answers. She's not a doctor. But what she does know is that there are certain foods that you can eat that she doesn't. Sorry, I keep going off at a tangent. But when she was writing her book, she wanted to know journalistically things, so she did this huge amount of research, and she couldn't understand why when she was so slim and she was eating anything she could and never put on any weight. And of course we all thought, oh, you've got a high metabolic rate, you're fit, you're healthy. I mean, she was as...
How can she get cancer?
How can she get cancer? She could drink anybody under the table.
For people that are listening, read Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Tuliken, and you'll get the answers to those questions.
Exactly. But it's not only that. When she did these tests on herself, she did two things. She's called a Dutch test and a SNPs test. It was found out in her DNA that she actually doesn't process sugar properly. So it absorbs into her bloodstream.
So she gets high glucose levels.
Exactly. And that is carcinogenic. And she was eating on tour with all the filming and everything, carbs, sugar, sweet stuff, processed food.
Sugar feeds cancer cells anyway.
Exactly. So now she's on a very, very strict diet because she says to minimise her chances of reoccurrence. But she's fortunate in that she can learn about it, but she's sharing that knowledge.
That's great.
That's excellent.
But you are right about being very English. We are deferential to people that we believe are in authority. And most of us don't push back or ask difficult questions.
Yeah.
Somehow it's just in our nature.
It's a Victorian
and you're also right that I'm dreadful for it. I'm the worst person in the world when someone's got some bad news. I have no idea how to react properly to it.
Yeah.
I'm awful. And I know I'm awful, but it is very English. You're okay. Yep, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Move on. Talk about something else.
Let me know if I can do anything to help.
Yeah.
And then you think, and they're not going to ask you. They're not going to say, well, actually, could you come and do this to help me? It's very much, I was doing things for Julia that like blow drying her hair. She couldn't lift her arm up. And her hair was all wet, and I would blow, not very well, I have to say, and we'd laugh about it. But it was simple things like that. I'd make her banana bread, because it's sweet, but it's healthy. It's just, so it's thinking about what you can do, because she's not going to tell me, can you blow dry my hair? But it's having that initiative, and a lot of people don't. They're so embarrassed. They think, well, I'm not going to do that. They won't ask.
Yeah. And the other thing is that you're frightened of offending people by offering to help as well. Do you want me to get that for you? No, I'm perfectly capable. And if you don't offer, you sort of think, I'm just so ignorant. And we are just
Sometimes you just have to, see, if you're Greek, you just steam in.
Yeah.
Feed you. Yep.
We are very awkward. As a people, as a race, whatever you want to call the English, we are quite...
stuffy.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's a stereotype, but it's true.
And if you want to live for a long time, go and look what the Greeks are doing.
Yeah.
Because they've got it right.
Yeah, it's very true.
But this has turned it into something positive, the Walk Yourself Happy, isn't it? Because you've got loads of things going on now.
Oh, it's fantastic.
There's loads of. There's an event. There's an event coming up soon.
We're doing a couple of things in May. We've got Bagger Wainwright with Julia. So we've got walks up on in the Lake District, 2 days of different people each day, but we're doing a nice lunch, breakfast, lunch, and an afternoon tea. But we're in between, we're doing some fun walks. She's doing some fun walks with people, so that'll be great fun.
And yet people can book.
Yeah, they can
this.
book on the website. If you go onto the website, there's a big banner that says, book, register here for interest, and you can see what it's all about.
That
includes overnight accommodation and stuff.
No, because they're day walks, but
Okay.
we have done deals with the In Collection Group, who's one of our partners on the Outdoor Guide, and they've done, mates rates. If people want to come in the night before or they want to stay the next day or whatever, to make a couple of days of it in the Lake District. But it's at Castle Rig Hall is where base camp is, which is a fantastic campsite.
Is that just outside Keswick?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's lovely, David, that owns that, and he's sort of partnered with us, but he's so lovely. And they've got 5 pods, which we're all staying in, but then they've got a campsite there that with people can bring their own tents or their own motorhomes or whatever, and then we do the walks.
And there's a lovely stone circle to see there as well.
Doing that, we're doing Waller Crag, which is one of the Wainwrights, and then back for lunch. And we've got an outdoor chef who specialises in outdoor catering and barbecues.
Surprise view at the top of Waller Crag.
Surprise view at the top of Waller Crag. Yeah. Beautiful view at the top of
Can you
Waller
order
Crag.
some nice weather as well?
Yeah,
It's never about the weather, it's about the clothing.
You've got your
that's what Wainwright said. There's no such thing as bad weather, only
yeah.
appropriate clothing.
Yeah. And then you have a lunch, and then we're going to do the stone circle with a bit of mindfulness and some nice stuff, and then back for a nice little bit of afternoon tea, which will all be healthy and sugar-free.
And if it's raining, you've got the Pencil Museum.
Well, no, we're not moving from there. If it's raining, we're undercover anyway.
Excellent.
So that's on May the 12th and 13th. And then later in the year, we're doing a retreat, which we're hoping to do in Rutland, which is a 2-day, all-encompassing it's basically the Walk Yourself Happy book, but brought to life with breath work. And
Invite me along. I'm a breathing practitioner.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, I think you should come and run it.
I'm more than happy to.
Oh, we'll discuss that.
I teach the profession how
Do
to do
you?
it. Yeah. So.
Well, Patrick McEwen is normally who.
Well,
comes.
he was my guru. He taught me.
Well, he was.
He comes along.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
well, you don't need me if he's coming.
Yeah. Well, he's in Julia's book.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we use the breathwork expert from Julia's book.
Well, he is probably the best breathing practitioner in the world, without any doubt.
Well, he comes.
Wow.
If he's free. If he's not free, you're his stand-in.
Sold. No, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
So where's this happening?
Well, we hope that it's going to be happening in October at a very lovely Rutland
venue.
Nice.
Okay.
We'll keep you posted.
So if people are interested in that, then they need to keep an eye on your website.
Well, the other thing they can do is if they sign up to our free newsletter,
Okay.
then that always gives people lots of information all the time. And then if they specifically register their interest in the retreats, we have a list, and then we send it out once we've got it all in place and we know what we're doing.
There must be some kind of limit to how many people you can have, is it?
25.
Oh, it's very limited.
Very exclusive. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well, it's very personal, it's nutrition, sleep, breath work, mindfulness, sound bathing. Again, it's very transparent. We set up a WhatsApp group afterwards. Everybody all talks to each other, and we're all friends. It's lovely. One big Walk Yourself Happy family, which is what we're trying to do, is make Walk Yourself Happy a movement.
Yeah. It's all really positive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how should we end this? We should have a group hug. I feel like we should have a group hug now.
I promise I won't cry. Round a tree, yeah. Have you got
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jason.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gina.
Thank you very much.
It was great, and I've no doubt our listeners are going to enjoy that. Thank you. That was great.
Cheers. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this pub natter. In our next episode, we host our first podcast in Uppingham, and will be hosted by Lammy in the Vaults. And our special guest is Tim Sexton, who is an entomologist and the Senior Species Recording Officer for Leicester and Rutland Wildlife Trust. We do not make any money from these podcasts and present them purely to promote Rutland's watering holes and give a voice to local folk. You, yes, that's you, can help us by leaving a review on your preferred podcast platform. We prefer Apple, as that is where we have most listeners, but are happy to receive any reviews on any podcast platform. Reviews help us to increase our audience, which helps to promote Rutland. The theme music is by Tom Arnold. That was a Pub Natter broadcast.